Today, we're unpacking a seriously raw, super fascinating source document. It chronicles this highly intense 12-day transformation journey. It's literally titled Beast Mode: The Evolution of Discipline. And man, it takes us deep into the nuts and bolts of what actually happens when someone decides to totally overhaul their daily habits. Now, if you've ever felt like your internal battery is just constantly draining, like you're dragging yourself through the week, yeah, you're going to want to pay close attention to this. We're going to break down exactly how this transformation happened, day by agonizing day, pulling insights directly from the source. So, let's get into it.
Section 1. The Zero Energy Trap. Feeling stuck.
Okay, so before we can really grasp this transformation, we gotta look at the starting line, right? The source material tackles this head-on. Why do we feel stuck? The author paints this incredibly vivid, honestly super relatable backstory of a state we're calling zero energy. And hey, this isn't just about needing a nap. We're talking chronic, all-encompassing fatigue. The text describes how just waking up feels like climbing a mountain. The mere thought of a workout, absolutely impossible. You're tired all day, you've got zero motivation, and honestly, what do we end up doing? We just scroll on our phones, wasting time, sinking deeper and deeper into that rut. It's this vicious cycle, right? A lack of discipline breeds a lack of energy, which kind of just makes discipline seem even further out of reach.
But then, the whole narrative shifts. We get this striking quote right from the source. Something feels different. I don't know what changed, but my body is not the same anymore. Wow. The author suddenly realizes this undeniable physical shift is kicked in. The fatigue, poof, it's gone. That heavy, stuck feeling just evaporated. And this right here absolutely sparks our curiosity, doesn't it? Like, what in the world happened between that endless phone scrolling and this sudden moment of feeling fundamentally, biologically different?
Well, we can see that exact shift mapped out right here. Look at the left side, the past. Tired all day, zero motivation, completely trapped in the doom scroll. But then, fast forward just 12 days later, and reality has completely flipped. Waking up early, razor-sharp focus, genuinely feeling alive. I mean, going from a dead stop to this level of optimization in under 2 weeks, it really forces the obvious question: what exactly is the bridge between these two states?
Section 2. The Beast Mode Challenge. 100 Days of Discipline.
So that bridge between those two realities, yeah, it definitely wasn't some magic pill. It was a hard-line choice to kick off a strict 100-day protocol. Let's map out this narrative arc on the timeline we pulled from the text. Look at day 1. Like we talked about, absolute zero energy. But notice what happens next. It absolutely does not get better right away. Actually, day 3 marks this phase of brutal pain. The source is super clear on this. Those first few days were brutal. The body was aching, and the urge to quit was just this constant, consuming thought. Because think about it. When you force a body and a mind out of a stuck phase, it violently resists. It's a total crucible. But if you can just survive that brutal phase, you eventually hit day 12, the turning point.
Now, before we get to that turning point, we really need to acknowledge the reality of the struggle. It's captured perfectly in this quote. There were moments I almost gave up, but I didn't. It is so crucial to validate just how intensely difficult starting a new daily habit actually is. I mean, the physical pain, the mental exhaustion, it pushes you right to the absolute edge of failure. The sheer power in this narrative doesn't come from never wanting to quit. No way. It comes from having every single biological signal in your body screaming at you to stop, feeling yourself right on the verge of throwing in the towel, and then refusing to do it. That refusal, that is exactly where the transformation lives.
Section 3. The Turning Point. Momentum takes over.
This is where the friction finally burns off. Pushing through that pain phase creates this fascinating cascading effect. First, the baseline energy actually starts rising. Then, you start beating your own alarm clock, waking up totally naturally. Suddenly, those workouts that felt literally impossible just a few days ago, they actually start to feel easier. And outside the gym, your mental focus gets significantly sharper. It all just culminates in this ultimate realization. You feel alive again. It's like compounding interest, but for your biology and your habits.
By day 12, the source material notes this incredibly profound shift, a complete mental transformation. The author explicitly states, this is not just physical, it's mental. Discipline is changing everything. You see, when you force yourself to adopt these rigorous daily habits, you aren't just building muscle or boosting your cardio. You are fundamentally restructuring your mindset. You're proving to yourself that you are capable of executing incredibly difficult tasks, and that rewires your entire self-perception.
Section 4. 3 tips for discipline. Actionable takeaways.
Okay, so how do we actually apply this to our own lives? Well, we've distilled the core of this 12-day journey into 3 fundamental rules, pulled directly from the text to help you build your own unstoppable daily habits. Step 1. Commit with no excuses and no shortcuts. The author didn't sit there and negotiate with themselves. Building a daily habit requires a non-negotiable starting contract, period. Step 2. Push past the urge to quit during the brutal phase. You literally have to anticipate that days 2, 3, and 4 are gonna hurt. The urge to quit isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's a sign that your body is adapting. So expect the friction and push right through it. And step 3, which is honestly probably the most important one. Rely on discipline over motivation. Look, motivation is just a feeling, and feelings are fickle. Discipline is an action. You execute the habit regardless of how you happen to feel that day.
And that brings us to the absolute core realization of our source material. You don't need motivation, you need discipline. We have got to completely break this myth that you need to feel motivated before you start taking action. Seriously, if you wait until you feel like working out, or you feel like waking up at 5 a.m., you are going to be waiting forever. You don't need the feeling, you just need the structure, the commitment, and the discipline to execute the task. The feeling of being alive comes after the action, not before it.
Section 5. Just the beginning. Beyond 12 days.
So we've spent this entire explainer analyzing the really profound changes of the first 12 days. But remember, this was a 100-day challenge, which leaves us right here at day 13. The source text ends with this incredibly powerful, kind of ominous promise. Things get serious. Stay ready, because the transformation is just getting started. The framework is there, right? No excuses, expect the brutal phase, and choose discipline over motivation. The only question left for you is, what is your day 1 going to look like?